everyone, it's your girl Bunmi Alabi on Just a Chat with Bunmi Alabi, and it's a show where we keep it real, talk about faith, health, relationship, and everything in between, especially the trendy topics on social media. And today we have a very, very interesting topic to talk about today again. But before then, I want to talk about my special guest on the show today. This man is someone that is very vast in diverse areas. He's someone that whenever I have some serious topics to discuss about, I always like to bring him here. Wow. Because I know, I want to say wow, that I know he's someone that always like to keep it real and keep it straight. He doesn't like to just pretend or hide things. He say it the way it is. And to discuss this interesting topic, we know that a lot of men are going through this particular thing, but some men don't even know what they are going through. But before then, I want to celebrate all the men that are watching us behind the scene, in the studio, everywhere. Most of the time you say, we don't celebrate, we are men, no, we don't celebrate that we are women, that we have Women's Day, Mother's Day, Aunties Day, Girls Day, and the likes. But this one, we know that Sunday is your day, fathers, men fathers, and I'm talking about responsible ones. Not fathers that will go out and they won't even look back and say, how do I take care of my children and my wife? So we are talking about fathers. It's Father's Day, and it is the month, it is mental health month for the men. So we have you in mind. So don't think we don't care about you men. So we are celebrating you specially, and I want to say well done. Kudos to you men that are doing it right, doing the things, trying to learn and unlearn things. And I know a lot of men are going through this discussion, that this thing we're going to talk about today, and they're going through it, but they don't know about it. We call it midlife crisis. I was saying this behind the camera, and somebody was like, which one is midlife crisis? I said, okay, so you don't know about it. But in case you don't know about midlife crisis, my guest here is going to unleash, because he has already gone through it. Yes, he has gone through it, and he knows what it entails. He knows the symptoms. He knows what life was, how it was when he was going through it. But let me introduce our special guest to you. Please join me as I welcome Mr. Ibiro Igba.
Yeah.
I hope
not Ibiro Igba, Ibiro Igba.
Which one is Ibiro Igba? Ibiro Igba. Ibiro. No, we're shorting it now. Ibiro Igba. It is Ibiro Igba now.
Ibiro Igba.
Ibiro Igba.
Yes.
Ibiro Igba Yimika. Yeah. Okay, please welcome Mr. Ibiro Igba to the seat today with me.
You're welcome. Hello everyone. It's a pleasure being here.
Glad to have you, sir.
Nice being
here. So how are you doing?
I'm alive.
Are you alive? I can't see you. You're alive. You're bubbling.
Yeah, alive. We're keeping it real.
Keeping it real. So how is Mama and the boys?
Everybody's fine.
Yeah, Mr. Ibiro Igba is the father, is the husband, and is a businessman, entrepreneur, and he's here with us to celebrate the Father's Day and the men's mental health month, because we need to just we need to sensitize our younger boys, younger men that are growing up, to know what it is, what life is as a man. So midlife crisis. Let's start with your own experience. I want to believe that you're already in your early 50, right? If I'm right?
Mid-50s.
Mid-50, wow. You're mid-50, wow. Okay, midlife crisis. I know people don't talk about it, they don't understand it. You are saying that maybe we just gave it the name, but is this really real? Midlife crisis for men?
Well, midlife crisis in the present world, yes, it's real. And has it been there? Not really. And what will start spark it always comes from somewhere. It starts from early stage. It's a time whereby what you call the crossroad. Just like you have in marriages, you have crossroads. It's a crossroad where you have to take stock. Wow. What have I done? What have I not done? What do I need to do? How do I go? So it's just a matter of, it's a stock taking time. And then you need to start coming to terms with the changes you're experiencing as an individual. As a man, you could dart from here to there and do so a lot of things as a young person. But when you get to a certain age, you find that you can't lift yourself as high as what you do. You cannot run as much as you want. You cannot, you catch your breath at every single time. Those are what brings about crisis, because you don't want to accept. You still want to You feel that the engine or the Ferrari is still brand new.
It's still there.
You have forgotten that you have used the Ferrari for like 30 years, 40 years, and you still want it to be like the one
The way
that's
it
just
used to
produced
be.
today. So that's where the midlife crisis comes, and it comes with without the proper psychological orientation or preparation. It might bring about what you might call depression. It can bring about what you call conflict. It can bring about chaos. It can also bring about a lot of um, things that might not be palatable, either directly or indirectly, to the other person. So,
Wow. You know, we were talking about it the other time that midlife crisis, is it only men that go through midlife crisis? Because you know, me as a woman, I believe that okay, we have a lot to deal with. We have so many things, hormonal change, hormonal imbalances, as in body weaknesses, and some premenopausal
premenopausal.
premenopausal symptoms and the likes. And you know, most time we talk about okay, men don't really understand what we go through every month, mood swing, ovulation, voila. You know all this. And most time you don't even understand. As some men don't even understand that their wife even have some ovulation syndrome time that they feel. So we believe that okay, you know, some men always say world does not center around you women at all, but we open up, we say it. You know, we try to educate our men, we try to educate the society that okay, these are the things women go through. But most men, we believe that a lot of men, they try to bottle up things, they try to cover up things, but the reality is these things, they are there. And a lot of men, like, they ignore it. I think this midlife crisis start within the range of I think 30, 35 or thereabout, right?
Well, if I say midlife, that 30, you are still in your young adulthood. But right now, because of the so much pressure that you are putting on the younger generations, trying to make them grow up faster than what they are supposed to be, and that is bringing too much pressure, and then they are now taking up responsibilities and roles that are not meant for them. And basically, it may get choked. We, as parents, actually, I think a lot of parents are actually the ones that are at the basis of it.
Putting the pressure on them.
Yes, and that is what is coming up while you are Maya. You are now having increase in suicide in some cases in some first world or whatever world you call it. And but if you go back into the roots, go back into our culture, a child would still be sucking breast at the age of 1 or 2 years. We'll still be playing outside. It's just his time. We'll still play out till around a certain period of time. By the time he's 6, then he will have been learning some things up and up. But here, as at the age of 1, 2, you're already putting responsibility. He's already in a crèche. He's already doing pre-infant, junior infant, toddler 1, toddler 2, toddler 3. You're already putting so much. He doesn't have time to play. He doesn't have time to relate. In our own time, there is always space. The school environment was created in such a way that there is space to run. You can run far and wide because the energy is there. But in midlife, 35, 40, 45 to 50 is actually the middle. 35, 40 and stuff like that. It's a lot of things are setting in. You are not growing as rapidly as you are growing, and then breaking down is not as rapid as it is. If you keep a healthy life, that is when it will help you. So, but one thing that I would like you to also understand is that when you say that we like bottling it up, we don't bottle up. Okay. It's just because we are not trying to be dramatic. So, men are not dramatic. Women are dramatic.
That's how women are wired. But you know, that society, I really want to talk about the age limit. You know, you're talking about the midlife crisis age is kind of declining unlike before. Okay, like somebody
let's not mix it up.
Okay.
There are different crises with every we have the infants, we have the toddlers, we have the children, we have the teenage, we have the young adults, we have the adulthood that's midlife. Then you have we say fool at 40 is a fool forever. That's the parental level. Then when you now start moving into the parental, you're now moving into the retirement. All of it has its own crisis.
Absolutely.
But how do you now, what's it called? How do you
Navigate.
How do you navigate? How do you flow into those areas?
But I think he's all those things you mentioned about, they are normal thing everybody face, even as a boy child, as a girl child. We all face different challenges at different stages. But you mentioned something that our parents are kind of maybe putting some pressure on their children, especially the male child. And I noticed something.
We as parents, not our
we
parents.
we as parents,
Not our
yes,
our
because
parents.
we believe that we have to look at things holistically, because most of the time, maybe let's talk about we our whole set now. We might be blaming some of our parents that maybe they indulge their male children so much that they don't make them do things, that they take care of the girl child. They make the girl child to be responsible, leaving the male child there because he's the man of the house, he's the boy. They don't.
It depends.
No, that's how our parents raise most of our.
Some parents.
Yeah, some parents. Yes. So, and when we look at the side, okay, like in the African culture now, men are not supposed to do some things. They believe that it is the role of women to do some things, but some men are missing out from their responsibilities. If you look at the way things are going now, women are taking up responsibility that most men are supposed to do. So now we don't want to raise, maybe we don't want to raise an adult man as someone that is already grown, and they are believing that I think it's better for me to start training my boy child from a younger age. I'm trying to buttress the point of view saying that maybe so much expectation on our children that is making them to do some things that are beyond their age. So maybe it's because maybe the men of our age are not, some of them are not taking responsibility because of the way their parents, maybe the way they train them or the like. So now we believe that, okay, how can we change this whole scenario? Is by changing things from the roots, as in when they are still younger, when they are still at a moldable age. Okay, teach a child, a male child, to be responsible, to know how to deal with things, challenges in life. Don't think, oh, everything will be all right, all true. You understand? Because reality setting for every man, reality setting, you get to a stage that, okay, you'll be responsible at 35 or at 30. A man that doesn't have a job, that is not earning as much as he expected to take care of a woman. And women nowadays, they are having the opportunities everywhere to be able to take care of themselves. So it's really affecting some men. And I think that
is social malaise.
Yeah, it is social.
We have to make sure things that, let us put it clearly.
Okay.
It is social malaise, and it is not a matter of whether they are putting pressure. It's not a matter of. It is us trying to create yardstick. Okay. It is us trying to set criteria.
Was it unrealistic yardstick or what?
What is realistic? Realism varies from place to place. Mm-hmm. Like if you go back in time, there are some people at the age of 50 in the times are still in their father's house. At the age of 50, 60 in those days are still in their father's house.
With their family.
In their father's house with their family, or maybe they may not be married. You don't know. But things have changed in such a way whereby you are expecting more. And a lot of things change, especially during our own time. Because we have the buggy age, we have the machine age, we have the jet age. We were born within the machine, the jet age. And now a lot of us lived in self-denial because we believe our parents were hard. But we have forgotten that it was those experiences that formed us, that molded us. And now we are denying our children the benefits to learn. So when we deny them the benefit to learn, then you are now expecting so much from them that they need to match up. But everything has its pros and its cons. And until we start realizing that we need to correct ourselves from the root, bring back ourselves to understanding who we are, then, because one, in life you are supposed to grow in 4 basic ways.
Okay.
That is the bedrock of life, the bedrock of every man. You have to supposed to grow mentally, spiritually, physically, and socially. If you don't have this growth, every other thing you add on top becomes. If you don't grow physically, that means our normal growth.
Yeah.
You have to grow mentally because you have to grow intellectually. You have to be aware of your environment. You have to go spiritually. That's your relationship with God. That means with Supreme Being, the person, our maker. And we have to go socially, be able to interact with those around us. Now, if we put the quest for money first, that cannot bear the load of both mental, social, physical, and spiritual growth. Now, you have those growths. Then we have the basic survival needs. Then we now have other things that will come up. So those are things that actually, if we don't put it in the right perspective, helps us in deviating from our rules or our being. And it will get to a point, we get to a crossroad. We ask ourselves, oh, I'm supposed to be here, and I'm not there. Oh, I'm supposed to be rich, and I'm not rich. I'm supposed to be this, I'm not that. Who told you that being rich makes you better? Who told you that if you are married makes you more comfortable?
I think with that, I think it's an expectation from the society or the culture. So that when they believe that, how will a 50-year-old man be staying under his parents' roof? You know, it's a sign like, okay, you are not man. When you don't start raising a family at a certain age, then when do you now want to start even enjoying maybe what you've labored for?
All of us have needs, but most times we try to transfer our needs to our children. And we now try to make them leave our needs. And until, like I said some time ago when I got married, I told my parents, I actually went to my mom, I said, look, I'm marrying this person because I love her. I don't want to hear if she doesn't give birth within the first year, second year, if it's in 10 years. That is between me and her. Don't give me pressure. If he wants to give birth, if God blesses us and we give birth now, so be it. If it is in 10 years' time, let's take our time. But don't come and say, you're supposed to give me children, this and that. Those are your expectations. But are those my expectations? No. You should try to separate those ones. And it is until we start separating those expectations of ours and helping the children also know their expectation. But it doesn't mean that when we leave them blank. We have to live to guide them. Because we are looking at different things differently. We have gone through that stage. But our outlook is quite different from their outlook. Because our exposure, the environment in the 1970s is not the environment now.
Absolutely.
In the environment in the 1970s, you will walk down the street, you misbehave at Shomolu, you find out that before you get to Songo, that message has gotten to Songo. How did he get there? And you are moving as fast as you can. And there was no telephone. But you will get home and you are seeing the person there. So those are limitations of time. But one thing is that we add so much, and then we now put so much pressure, and the man or the boy or the girl tries to feel that I need to meet up this standard. And that standard also conflicts with his own mental well-being, and that brings about the conflict. So that is the crossroad. So at that crossroad the question is, what do I do?
All right, sir. Before we go, I want you to talk about, was there a point at your life, maybe when you were going through that time, that you really noticed that, wow, I'm having so much on me. I'm having some, as in things were not the way it used to be, or they were not as my expectation. You know, there will be a time in everybody's life that you believe that, okay, maybe as a man you should have achieved these things, or some things are not really working. Maybe your parents have expectations from you, your family have expectations from you, the society have expectations from you, you yourself, you have expectations for yourself, and was there a time that you get to that point and you feel so stuck, or you feel like frustrated, like things are not really working? So I think that should be the peak of that midlife crisis.
Okay, I had some crises at some point in time. My crisis was that I don't have a girlfriend.
So what? That would be like maybe in your relationship.
And I said, I was looking for. I said, okay, what is love? Okay. And now there is this music there. I'll do anything. I'll give you anything just to fall in love. And that was those times. But does that mean that I couldn't find any girl? There are so many girls. But does that mean that that's a crisis? But does that deter me? Does it stop me? No. Now it gets to a point whereby I get to the higher institution. I'm coming out of the higher institution. What we know then is that, okay, you go to school, you study, you get to university. When you get to university, you come out, you get a job.
Get a job.
Now, but by the time we were coming out, things were changing. It is no more the buggy age. It is no more the machine age. It is now the jet age interfacing with the space age.
The reality.
Now, we are not expecting things to be done for us. Those before us had the opportunity of having a paid tuition. They were fed in school.
Scholarship.
They got all the things. Yes, but we struggle. We are the one feeding ourselves. We did every single thing, but all the same time, I looked at it. One of the crises I felt was that, okay, while we were in school, the yardstick for being employed was, oh, you must have done this, you must do this, you must be a master's, and you must be this age. Now, by the time I'm getting to that age, life has changed the pattern. Now, they are now saying those that are needed in employment must be younger than my age and must have had their masters. Now, before it was, you must be 28, you must be 30, and you must have had your masters. Now, by the time I got to 28 and I was ready, they're now telling me that they need people that are 26, 25, less than.
And now people are changing their birthday.
And people started modifying birth dates and stuff like that. I never modified mine at any point in time. I've not even thought about modifying it. So that is a conflict. Societal conflict, societal place that is bringing about, okay, fine, the necessity to belong. And that is identity.
Yeah.
And now identity conflict now brings about what you now call midlife crisis. I don't want to be identified as old. I want to be identified as the youth.
And the reality is,
and the reality is there. You are old.
You are neither there nor
so, and now that is the identity. That's the reality that most of us are now suffering. We are arrogating the youth to ourselves, whereas we are far beyond the age of youth. We are fathers. We are old ones. We are supposed to be the pillars that the children and the youths are looking up to. But right now, we are holding their identity.
You want to be a Gen Z? A Gen Z
We
father.
are holding their identity. So, those are midlife crises. Now, the question is that you need to ask yourself, who are you? Who do I want to become? What do I want to get? And that is one thing. So, it comes with a lot of studying, but a lot of right now we don't do any studies. We just live by the day, and everything comes by media, and you now start feeling it. So one thing again is that midlife crisis also comes with not being able to identify where you want to actually belong. What do you want to do, or what am I supposed to have achieved? You cannot run faster than your shadow. So people should not tend to, because you are not married at a certain age, does not make you less
of yourself.
If you look at our fingers, they are never, but if they are using it, if you stretch it, all of them will not get to the same point at the same time. But each time in life, all of us wants to get there. But if you put it together like this, we push it, it will get there at the same time. But even at that, it will still not get there at the same time. But one thing is this: can we achieve anything like this? No. But if we spread it, we can achieve more. If we spread it, we can grab. If we spread it, we can hold. We can catch. We can grip. But most times, we are following a different norm. We are running a race based on an assumed platform. And that is what is making there to be crisis. Run your own race. Be your own person. Do not feel less of a person because you are not up to that person's standard. I've had a case whereby people say, oh, is it until our children start calling you grandpa before you get married? I married late, slightly late. But does that mean I'm late? I still have some, I know people that are 50 that are not married. I have a younger person that is 50 now that is not married. But does that make him less of a man? Does that make him less of a person? Does that mean that he's not mature? Does that mean that he is not equipped? No. All of us have different status. Some are early starters, some are late starters. And some are never going to start. So you need to find out where you are before you now start giving yourself undue pressure. But another thing that can help you is that you have to continue learning. Okay, how can I do these things better? But right now, right at this age right now, we are looking at the fact that okay, in another 4 years, we are out. And we are not even employable. So what are you
That's
talking
the
about?
reality.
And you will now say, okay, fine, we are talking to ourselves. Okay. Some of my colleagues said, do you know that in another 4 or 5 years, we are out of the setting? It is only us that will keep ourselves company. Our wives, they already have an assignment because they will either move from this house to that person's house to that person's house because they are going for one thing or the other. Oh God, this is it.
No, that one. No, I have something for you for that one. For emphasis sake, I really want us to talk about how to help the younger boys, younger guys that are still at the age of maybe trying to, there are different phases. Some might be, the reality is peer pressure is there.
Sure.
So many things are putting pressure on them. The pressure we put on ourselves are much, but everybody have a standard that they want to meet up with. They have some things they want to meet up with. Please, I want you to just put the emphasis for some younger guys that are watching us that will still get to this stage, because the reality is they will get there. People are getting things done. They see their colleagues doing things, building houses, riding cars, getting married. And like I said earlier, that you don't have job of your own. You can't feed yourself. And you are saying you want to feed a wife. And at the end of the day, it will be the wife that will be taking care of your responsibility as a man. So for emphasis sake again, please, I want you to just address the younger guys. Let them know how to prepare themselves better for this stage, because it is something that is there. It will happen. It will come on them. So please help us talk to them on what they can do and how they can prepare better.
To prepare, there is no true language to it. You just have to educate yourself. Research, study. You cannot be what you don't have. It is not by watching movie. It is not by watching films that you can become. You will read. You have to educate yourself. You have to learn new things. How can I do things better? And for every single person or young ones coming up, I will tell you, don't look at the other person's watch. Run your race. Emma Wagwala Gushishe, like our fathers would say. Run your race. Accept your limitations. Know your boundaries. What can you do? How can I do it? That you cannot do things and you need to get married. It's not a crime. That you don't have a job does not mean you cannot get married. There are those that get married and they start getting together and they get better. There are those that will not, no matter how they like, let them fight from now till thy kingdom come. They will not achieve anything. But when they find a wife, they find a good thing. And at that point in time, in less than 30 days, in less than 1 month, you see changes. You see progress. Because they run better as a couple. They run better as a team.
That's for the one who marries right.
For some. For everybody marries. There is nothing like marrying right.
That's another.
It's a different ball game.
That's
so
another
let's not go there. So,
but I say everybody. There are some people that they marry and at a life crisis or midlife crisis, so they don't even say, they just want things.
No, they marry.
That's another pressure from meeting a family responsibility is another thing that it is there. So don't say marry. So fine, you can marry right. You can marry somebody that can team up and say, okay, let's grow together. And you can marry someone that will say, you are the man of the house, and it's my father that used to provide everything for my
social
mother.
Malaise.
You are just saying social malaise.
Yes, it is one thing is that that's why I said you need to know yourself.
Okay, but can you know the person you are married? Can you know everything about the person you are married?
If you don't have an identity, that is when everything. They said if you don't stand for something, you will believe anything. You need to be able to stand for something.
But when you are in love with someone, love will blindfold your eyes.
There is no love that will tell you not to know your principles.
Know your principles.
Yes.
You will forget about principles. By the time love is shacking you and you say, anything you do, I will follow you. I will buy Ferrari for you. I will buy everything. And by the time the midlife crisis sets in, you will change story for the girl. The girl that is expecting.
Wait, love will always shock a man, but you only shock a man for a very short period of time.
Okay.
By the time there is consistency, it's the when you have the price, your perspective changes.
Okay.
It is not because you love the person less. It's just because your perspective changes. You now shift your focus.
Will the perspective of the woman change too?
the perspective of the woman, the changes, but not as rapid as the
She
man.
has expectation because of what you have laid down for her before you got her.
We never laid anything down.
So now because you have gotten her, now you are not telling her to understand your midlife
No,
crisis.
we are not.
Anyway, we are here to support you because it's still Men's Day. It's mental health
But
Men's
you are
Day.
not allowing the men to talk.
I was cooperating with you. I wasn't really arguing with you because I know we are here to celebrate your day actually. But to round up this session, I want us to we want to be supportive. We want to be there for you as a wife, as a girl child. We want to be there for you, even as a mother. Some mothers don't even understand what their son are going through. They have expectations. Say, my son is not doing this, he's not listening to me.
Because he's a man, he's not a woman.
So all these are there, but we want to know how we can be of support to you. You understand? How do you men? You are saying maybe you're saying sometimes that we women we want to understand you, and I was like, are you that complicated for us to understand? Like now, me I don't understand all this midlife whatever.
So what is not left to understand is like God told our apostle Daniel, he said, "Go your way, Daniel." I will tell you, women, go your way. Learn to say. One thing is that he said, "Go placidly admit the hustles and bustles of life."
Okay.
But wherever we meet ourselves, let us try to understand ourselves within that. We should not try to model, because you cannot understand the person better than himself. You cannot, what you think he's going to feel is not what he's feeling. He might take it casually, you might take it deeper.
Because you're a deeper thinker.
You look at it, he just said, okay. Yeah, and then you say, is it only okay you're talking about?
Because you have to talk more. Because you have to say more.
You don't say things.
Then on behalf of myself and my gender, I want to send you to your gender to please tell them to speak up. To open up, to say things.
When we ask questions, when you say, I'm coming to you for an advice. I'm asking you for an opinion. And then you are twisting it all over and then putting it back on me. It will be easier for me to just keep my mouth shut than for me to say.
You just want me, like you said, you just say okay. If a woman is to say okay, I must explain the reason behind that okay. I will navigate why okay is okay, why it has O and K and Y. So I must explain things to you.
Okay must not have a meaning.
It must have a meaning. So that is the life of women, because we women, we are emotional beings. We try to make you understand things, and we are trying a bit to make you understand that okay, we want to be there for you. There's no agreement. You are trying to, it's like you are not understanding us and you are not understanding us. But the reality is a lot of women too, we know that okay, you have so much
there for us.
Yes, absolutely. I believe I'm saying your mind.
You want to be there for us.
We want to be there for you.
We also want to be there for you.
We know.
But one thing is that when you've been there for us, sometimes it's just a gentle tap.
Okay.
Even just to say, I'm with you. It's just enough. Don't question.
Okay.
I am with you.
Okay.
So that okay, accept our okay.
My gender, are you hearing me? When your men say okay, just accept that it is okay. But most importantly, men always say they want their peace. So it is my peace. So you want what? Because of our time, what is that peace that you men always clamor that you want?
Understanding.
To understand you. To just accept with you. Anything you say, you should just follow.
When Jonah said he was in the fish for 3 days and 3 nights.
So in this generation, you come to me and tell me that one fish swallowed you up for 3 days, 3 days. I beg, take me to the house of that fish. I want to see that fish. Anyway, we celebrate you once again. Thank you for being there for us. Thank you for being supportive. And like I said, that it is for the men that knows their responsibility, that wants to be there, and that have been doing their assignment every day.
Let us not separate them. All of us are men.
All of us, who are the only?
All of us are men. Whether taking responsibility or not, it is orientation. So just say we celebrate all the men without bias.
We celebrate all the men, but please, do what is needful. I wanted to say something, but you made me forget by saying that it is Father's Day actually too. We celebrate all the fathers, we celebrate all the men. You are going through a lot. You are trying to be there for the family. You are trying to make things work, and we pray that God will help you all. God will increase you. For you women, please, like you said, jokingly, but the reality is there. Accept it the way they want it, and I think in proper communication, I think we get things straight, we get things better. You understand? Everybody wants to prove that okay, I'm the one right, you are the one right, but at least we must know how to reach a common ground amidst everything we are going through. Thank you very much, sir, for
Thank you
coming
very
through.
much.
And I celebrate you, fathers, watching us. You
I
men,
celebrate my colleagues.
yes, you celebrate
And
your
the young
gender.
ones coming up also.
And the young ones coming up, don't let them scare you. See, it will be fine. It is a normal thing. They are see them. They are still looking bubbly. They are still doing fine.
With God's grace.
Trying to look younger, and it is because of we women. Oh, and I want to especially thank Auntie Vicky for taking care of this handsome looking man, because I know without you he won't be looking this vibrant and young. So you are doing well. You are doing well. Thank you, Auntie Vicky, for taking care of our man, because the midlife crisis is not showing on him. This is 55 now, and you see the way he's looking. So because you have a good woman that is supporting you, that's why you can skate through the
We
midlife.
have God.
Thank you very much for coming online. It's me, Bunmi Alabi, saying thank you for joining us for this episode. Till we come your way again next week, please don't forget to like this video. Drop your comment as a man that is in his midlife crisis. What is your own experience? What are your struggles? What are the things you went through? And for you that are still coming, don't worry, learn. Listen to this, watch it and rewatch it again, so that you can learn from the men that have gone there and they are still, and they've scaled through that crisis.
We are still growing.
You are
We're not
still growing.
scaling.
Yeah, you are still
You don't
growing.
scale it, you are growing.
You are growing in it. Okay. All right. Oh, maybe we'll talk about the women's midlife crisis too, because we too will get our home. It's even plenty. It's plenty, and we have to talk about it. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Bunmi Alabi. Once again, see you again next week for another interesting episode of Just a Chat. Have a lovely week.